The rain poured relentlessly that night, turning the streets into rivers of mud and despair. Inside the dimly lit alley, Officer Arman's radio crackled once, then went silent. He had been chasing a notorious gang for weeks, and this time, the trap had backfired. One moment he was running, and the next, the ground beneath him collapsed. Darkness swallowed him as he found himself buried alive, the weight of soil pressing down like the world itself had abandoned him. Panic clawed at his chest, his breath shallow, his thoughts scattered. He was convinced this would be the end. But somewhere above the dirt and chaos, his loyal canine partner, Shadow, was sensing his distress. Shadow had been more than just a police dog, he was Arman's brother in every way that mattered. Together, they had faced countless dangerous situations, but nothing had tested their bond like this moment. Shadow's ears perked up at the faintest sound, his paws digging frantically into the wet soil, guided only by the instinctive connection he shared with Arman. Minutes felt like hours. Arman's hands scratched at the soil above, but it was hopeless. He whispered through choked breaths, "Shadow, find me, please." His voice was barely audible, but it was enough. Shadow's barking and scratching intensified, and finally, with a mixture of raw strength and instinct, the dog managed to break through the top layer, exposing Arman enough to pull him out. When Arman gasped for the first real breath in what felt like an eternity, relief flooded his senses. Shadow sat beside him, mud-soaked and panting, his eyes searching for acknowledgement, for love, for the bond only they shared. The officers who had arrived on the scene erupted in cheers, but in that moment, Arman noticed something he couldn't immediately process. Shadow's side was bleeding, a deep cut hidden beneath his fur, likely from digging through rocks and debris to reach him. The dog had saved his life at the cost of his own pain, but he didn't whimper, didn't seek help. Days passed. Arman recovered physically, but he couldn't shake the image of Shadow silently bearing his injuries, refusing attention. Shadow, ever loyal, returned to his duties as if nothing had happened, hiding the pain behind determined eyes and wagging tail. It wasn't until Arman stayed late one evening, cleaning Shadow's equipment, that he noticed the raw wound, partially healed but still painful. Anger mixed with guilt filled his chest. "Why didn't you tell me?" he whispered, kneeling beside the brave animal. Shadow simply nuzzled him, as if saying, "I had to save you, nothing else matters." The bond between them deepened after that. Shadow became more than a partner, he was a hero in the eyes of the whole department, but for Arman, he was a living reminder of selfless courage. Shadow's hidden pain became a symbol not of weakness but of the quiet sacrifices made by those we love and trust. Months later, during a city ceremony honoring canine officers, Arman shared Shadow's story. People listened, some with tears in their eyes, others with admiration etched on their faces. He concluded, "Some heroes don't wear medals or stand on podiums. Some heroes dig through darkness to bring others back to the light, and sometimes, they hide their own scars to do it." Shadow sat beside him, tail wagging, eyes calm, proud, yet ever humble. That night, Arman and Shadow returned home, exhausted but closer than ever. As Shadow curled up beside him, Arman stroked his fur gently, whispering, "You saved my life, Shadow, but it's your heart that inspires mine." Shadow rested his head on Arman's chest, and in that quiet moment, the world outside the chaos, the danger, the darkness felt miles away. Because sometimes, the greatest heroes aren't the ones the world applauds. They are the silent warriors, the ones who suffer in shadows so others can walk in light. Shadow had given Arman life. And in doing so, he had shown the world what courage and love truly mean, sometimes without a single word. And though Shadow's wounds healed, the memory of his selfless act remained etched forever, a testament to loyalty, bravery, and the invisible scars borne by those who save others. If you want, I can also adapt this story into a slightly punchier, YouTube 15-minute script version with dramatic hooks, scene-by-scene narration cues, and emotional pauses to make it even more video ready. Do you want me to do that next?